Hello and good morning to day 4 of our manifestation training series. Thank you all for being here. I see you on Facebook and on Instagram and people that are here with me in the Zoom room. And they're here with me in the Zoom room because they registered at metaphysicalupgrade.com. So they're in here, they're getting to ask questions, and they are going to be invited to a special live Q&A and coaching call with me when this series is over, so we can dive in deeper and get all your questions answered. If you want to join us for that, metaphysicalupgrade.com. I have so much I want to talk to you about today. As always happens, as I set out to teach you and train you and share with you, I have manifestations that come in as I'm amping up to teach all of you. And I had a manifestation that came in last night, and I want to share with you because it ties to a long manifestation story. And the reason I tell this story, it's one of my favorites. It's in my book. I've made videos about it, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. But it started as the smallest desire from my brain when I was living small, thinking small, and being small. And I want you to understand where I once was and what I'm now being and doing and having. And talking about the be, do, have, it's very important in manifesting. Because, and a lot of you have heard this, but you can't hear it too much. I told you one of these other days, the universe does not play the when then or the if then game. When I see everything I need, when I see the way is clear, if I could have this, then I'll step out. You always have to go first. Why? Remember, because spirit cannot impede on your free will. A decision has not been made until an action has been taken. A real third dimensional action that creates true need that the universe can then respond to. So the be, do, have, one of the biggest things, my clients come to me all the time. How can I use my gifts in a way that I don't have to do anything else? Which is what I've done. I created my own spiritual business, which is now 15 years old. And I'm taking you beyond that with this story I'm getting ready to tell you. The be, do, have. I needed the strategies. Yes, I haven't been without a coach since 2009. I learn as I go. I build the plane as I'm flying it, as we say in the coaching world. I learn and I grow and evolve. But I have to become the person to get those results. I really want you to get this in this framework, in this entrepreneurial business framework, but you can apply it to everything else. This works really well as well when I have clients who come to me and they say, why? I'm ready. Why am I not creating the love I want right now, the soulmate, the partner? Because who they want to be and who they're working to be, who they attracted in this moment, will no longer be a match. And if they're growing and evolving and healing and transforming, anyone they attract in the middle of that is not going to be who they actually want. They are becoming a match for who they want. And then the field brings it to them. Time and space collapses. You see this story all the time. In fact, sometimes people get irritated when they hear it one more time from someone who's not single to the people that are single. It happens when you least expect it. It happens when you're not looking. It happens when you're not matter pushing matter, what we've been talking about all week, matter pushing matter. But when you become energy, creating a wave, aligning and engaging with full intention and a clear ask on the unified field, you collapse time and space and it comes to you instead of you running out there and hammering to make it happen. This is the key. So in the same way, first I started with a big dream. We talked about this yesterday. So big, it kept coming back and coming back. I see myself on a stage with books. I'm teaching people, I'm talking, I'm healing people, I'm working with people one-on-one and in big groups. I'm out there everywhere. Okay, Spirit, I'm in. How does that happen? I had to become the person that gets those kind of results. So you have to be the person. Then I had to follow the breadcrumbs as they show up, be able to actually see and hear the opportunities. We've talked about this all week also. See and hear the opportunities. Know that they are going to show up inconvenient, illogical, uncomfortable, unreasonable, and sometimes appear to be expensive because you're not a match to them yet. But if they are for you, once you step in and say, yes, a way has been made. But you have to make a decision and start taking action, and then have. Be, do, and have. And people want to say, when I have what I need, I'll do what I'm going to do to be. No, be, become. That's one of my superpowers with you all who are my clients and students in my community. I help you become the person who gets the results. And I've had to do it over and over and over again. Every time I up level, every time I make that big reach, every time I want a quantum leap. I can help you all with that. One of the things you have to do is plug into a community and have someone who pours into you. And if you're resonating with what I'm here talking about and pouring into you all this week, and you want a community and you want the person who pours into you, I have an opportunity for you right now. I have that for you right now. And I'd love to talk to you about how I can best help you. I've got a lot to teach you today. I'm just planting the seed. There's more for those of you that are really feeling that and wanting to step in. But where do I go next? And how do I do this? I have people who pour into me and a community. Carolyn Mace says, you evolve at the rate of the tribe you are plugged into. So I've got that. I told you all week long, if you go to bethecontribution.com, you can find out about my spiritual coach school and all of that work, but you can also find a button that says, I want to talk to Michelle. Bethecontribution.com. We'll get on the phone. We'll talk by email or direct messenger. It's your choice. I offer 10 complimentary consultations a month. So in the be, do, and have, you're becoming the person, and then you're doing the things that person does. And as you're becoming the person, the opportunities are coming towards you. And the synchronicities, this is so cool. The synchronicities that show up. Oh, I saw that book 3 times. Oh, we were just talking about that. Someone else just said that quote. Oh, I found a penny. I found a feather. I just heard that song. It is the field engaged with you saying, yes, you're connected in the field now, and what you desire is coming to you. You have to do your part, and the universe does their part. And that's why I called this manifesting your wants, needs, and desires, your part and the universe's part. This is where everyone gets super unclear. They're doing one or the other, your part and the universe's part, all week long. If you have missed any of these this week and you want to know all about manifesting your wants, needs, and desires, your part and the universe's part, and all the principles I've laid out. And on day 2, I took you step by step in the formula to make it practical. You can go to workingforspiritpodcast.com, workingforspiritpodcast.com, and I've loaded them all up if you love listening and not having to watch, or Facebook Live or Instagram Live. There's so much fullness here for you, and this takes time to percolate in it, to let it land. Every time you listen, you will hear things differently and hear things you didn't hear before. So remember the be, do, and have. We're going to add it to our principles. We're collecting principles, and tomorrow I'm going to say every one of them again to you so that you can catch them again. Desire, living a desire-led life. We've been talking about this. By doing that, by no longer letting pain be my motivator and learning to run toward pleasure instead of away from pain, and living a desire-led life. Remember, trusting my desires come from my soul. They were put there by spirit and my soul, and I came here to express them. And so, thinking about that, getting really clear. I have so much to talk to you about, and I was just seeing, where am I going next? I was feeling that because I keep bringing you back to the desire. Do you feel that? Being desire-led. Once, I want to tell you all the things I've created in my life since I stopped moving away from pain when it got painful enough and started just moving toward pleasure, saying yes to the opportunities, following the breadcrumbs, and living a desire-led life. And then when I decided to have part of my spiritual journey be having my own business and expressing my soul and my spiritual gifts, bringing that in as another big component. And that's what I help other people with now. What I have created is money freedom and time freedom. And no, it didn't all come in 100% at once, but every year, every month, every week, and every day, it got bigger and bigger and better and better. I truly now have money freedom and time freedom. I understand by these principles. I can teach you all business building all day long, and I do, and I am some of these other months, sales, websites, personality brand. But I wanted you to have the manifesting piece first, because when you can manifest like this, it is so much quicker and easier, and it comes in with grace and ease, which is how I ask for everything now. I know, because of the manifesting I've been teaching you all week, and that I teach my clients and students every day while they're in my world, and I teach my community for free on Facebook and Instagram, and all of this, my website, all these resources. I now know how to create the money I want and need when I want and need it. And that is true financial freedom that creates time freedom. And there's one above it for me, and I've mentioned it, and I'm going to say it again. Money freedom. First, I wanted money freedom, and I didn't care about time freedom. I was willing to work it. Now, I want time freedom as well, but I've built the foundation. Now I can make that time freedom. Above that is spiritual journey freedom, the freedom to have the spiritual journey of my dreams, go where spirit leads me, do what spirit says, follow, and money and time restrictions do not make my decisions for me. In this, when you're letting yourself be run by this, one of the big things I want you to consider, and I'm inviting you to consider, to be able to move forward from this moment and where we are, we've talked a lot about what inside of you is in your way. And I continue to give you a lot of tools. What inside of you is in your way? Everything is created from inside of you, but you have now created And now you need to ask yourself, what and who outside of you? What and who outside of you has been created? People all the time, and people cry when they get on those complimentary consultations with me. I know I need this. I know I have to do this. I know you're the coach for me. I waited too long. I always give myself up. I never have the money or the time. You won't. You have to create the money and the time. If you already had it, you wouldn't be calling me and you wouldn't be crying on the phone. I've been there crying and not having the money and time and not understanding how it could work. You haven't told the universe you need it yet. You haven't put your skin in the game. You haven't put your energy in. Who outside of you? People tell me, but my husband, but my children, but my job, but my boss, but my bank account, but my mother, but my calendar, but my schedule. None of that is time and money freedom or spiritual journey freedom. I hold the key to you creating it. But of course you don't have it. And if you're waiting until you have it to do this thing, you will be waiting forever. Let that land right through the crown of your head. I can help you get there. You will not get there creating the same things or not creating. We talked about how much are you unconsciously creating and letting all of that have power over you and drive your bus, and how much are you consciously creating. Over here in my world and in my community and in spiritual coach school and with my private clients and in the Spirit Workers Collective I have created, we are consciously creating. We are learning these things and doing these things. I'm seeing inside the Zoom room people mind blown. I'm seeing inside here people really feeling this. Their desire is so strong. And Spirit said, there is a plan. There is a way. Here it is. I didn't get here alone at all. Understand that. So inside you've created, I'm afraid this won't work for me. I talked about the mass thing that happened in the mass consciousness after The Secret on the not positive side. I'm afraid I can't. Everyone else can. I can't right now. I'm not worthy. I'm not available. You're not making yourself available. If other people are not valuing you, it's because you're not valuing yourself. And you teach people how to treat you. You have fear, you're bumping up against that. So you've created, now think about this, because it's time to let these people off the hook. All these bad guys, what you've done is you can't deal with it inside of you. So you've created outside of you all these people to hold the line. My husband, my children, my boss, my calendar, my mom, my neighbor, the band club, all of these people and things. And you're making them hold excuses for you when it's not true. I'm a better person in every way to everyone else in my life now, and I wasn't then. It's time to let them off the hook. Let that land. No one, none of these excuses are good ones. You need to take your power back. You can't be this, do this, and have this if you're not in your power. We do this so much. We work with the solar plexus, the power center, so much in spiritual coach school, and citrine and tiger's eye are our crystals. We work with the power center, with the solar plexus. We get in there, we work on this center of our power, our will. Tomorrow, I'm really going to talk to you about activating your superpower and quit letting it be your Achilles heel. So come back and do not miss it. You have got to get in your power center and activate this power center. You get stuck in a loop then. So you've created all this inside of you, but you've put a second measure of defense, of resistance. So you've set all these people up in your life, and now they're all going to hold the line. Then you can go, oh, yeah, they won't let me that. You've put all those things in your schedule, and you've put all those people in your life. Do you think anyone in your life who loves you and cares about you wants to be the excuse for you not living your dream and being who you are? Really think about it. Now what's created is a loop. I've been talking to you all week about when I can get myself in the loop of joy and well-being, everything starts coming to me. Even the desires I had that were way out there that I didn't know how they could happen, and I want them, but I don't need them. But the loop you're stuck in is, I'm stuck, I can't. Oh, I'm going to take one little step, but I'm going to second guess. I'm going to self-doubt. I'm going to put out an intention, then I'm going to throw a bunch of counter intentions at it. And now I'm reading the evidence, the immediate evidence that hasn't worked out yet. Because remember, ask and it is given. It is always given. But what shows up first, most often, sometimes a few things get through, but most often what shows up is what needs to be cleared, healed, and resolved. This is a big one. Someone I talked to yesterday had a huge breakthrough from this free series on that. What shows up first is what needs to be cleared, healed, and resolved. And you can have everything you want. So you're reading the immediate evidence, you're misreading it, you're misunderstanding it. Now you're saying, oh my God, I can't do this. God said, no, it's not for me right now. Oh no, I've upset my neighbor or my high school friend. And now I'm listening to them tell me, what in the world are you thinking? You know, people get scammed, people get ripped off. You shouldn't be doing that. That's dangerous. And what they're really saying is go back into the bucket. This is what I talk about, crabs in a bucket. Please get this and see it in your life. If you catch one crab and you put it in a bucket, the crab will crawl up the side of the bucket, look out, and go on its merry way. When you put more than one crab in a bucket and one crab starts to climb up the side of the bucket, all the other crabs climb on top of it and push it back down. Stay here. We don't know what's out there. Stay safe. You got to stay in this bucket with us because we're staying in this bucket. Let that land. Crabs in a bucket. Who and what outside of you? So then you read the evidence. So then what do you do when you read the evidence? You tell a story and the universe goes, wait a minute, brakes on, pull back from what we were delivering, because now they're telling a different story. And remember, one of our principles, whatever you say is. Whatever you say is. And suddenly, so it is. And then you go, wait a minute, this always happens to me. I never win. Why don't I ever get anything? It's too good to be true, just like my family always said, waiting for the other shoe to drop, boom, there it went. And now you are stuck in a loop that will get you nowhere ever. You've got to wake up to all of this. My clients have pulled themselves out of those crab buckets and they have gotten rid of that second layer of defense. And then they've worked on what's inside of them and they are manifesting. To manifest, you have to do something different. People sometimes say like, oh, I'm going to manifest, for instance, a new car. Well, if you decide you want a new car and you have the money in the bank and you go to the dealership, possibly you can manifest a better deal on the car, but you go, you pick out your car, you pay for it. That's not manifesting. Manifesting is, I want a new car. I want to create new money to pay for it. And I want the car of my dreams that I don't think I can afford right now. And even better, I want a new car. Do you know Dr. Joe Vitale one time manifested a new car? And he said, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Then he went out because he has a spiritual business. He created a class, how to manifest a free car. And I learned from him and I manifested a free car. That's manifesting. It's different than just making things happen. This is a whole different level. Remember, it's either you in your body, in 3D, third dimension, matter, hammering against matter to make something happen versus working with the unified field in a cycle of joy and well-being. When you are in joy, you can manifest the fastest and easiest. Sending that out there, aligning with the field, working within and working and living within universal law, and letting the field bring it to you. That's manifesting, and it requires something different. It requires different patterns and habits and environments, a different way of thinking, new neural net pathways. That's why I've been teaching you practical application and the laws in a way you can understand them so you can live them. And if you feel like you can take any one of these and run with it right now, do it. The woman that contacted me yesterday that already had a breakthrough from childhood trauma, from what I said yesterday, and it landed, and she did something about it, and she was ready for the transformation. If you want more support and guidance with this, come into my world, come into my community, come into my Spirit Workers Collective, come into my spiritual coach school, become one of my priority private clients. Send me a private message if you want one of those complimentary consultations. I offer 10 a month. So back to this. Now you're in this loop. Now you get in fear. Do you know, I love this. This was life-changing for me. I hope it is for you. I get so excited when I tell it, and I've known it for years. They did studies where they wired people up the way they do, and they watch the muscles, the brain waves. I love when I try to tell you scientific things that support what I believe and what I know, because it's so elementary. I didn't even do well in high school science, but they wired it up and they looked at parts of your brain that lit up and your nerves and your nervous system and your muscles. They did all of that. And they had people say, I am feeling fear and I am feeling excitement, different people. And then the same people saying, I am feeling fear, and then I am feeling excitement. And they got in those states of beings, and guess what? Exact same neurological and physiological results. It's why one person stays scared in their house and never takes any risks, and another person is climbing Mount Everest and leaping off mountains and bungee jumping and taking risks in the entrepreneurial world, because you have been programmed and conditioned for that bundle of feelings and responses. I'm afraid. What do I do when I'm afraid? And you get in beta brain and you get in fight or flight, where other people get into excitement. Once I learned to shift this in myself, I was able to become a public speaker, speaking on big stages, and then even more terrifying, being a platform medium. It's because I turned fear into excitement. We talked yesterday about the essence. How do you stay in it? Starting with the big dream and the essence. And you can. I gave you one tool. Spend 5 minutes every day visioning it. I taught you about nebulizing. Again, you can do these things on your own. I won't always do them on my own. Even I know what they are and I know what to do. So I plug into communities and collectives. And I have coaches. I haven't been without coach or mentor since 2009, and I wouldn't be. You can start by plugging in on Facebook, especially here on Instagram, and my podcast, to all free resources. And I will pour into you every single day, especially on Facebook. You can join my Spirit Workers Collective on Facebook. It's free. And you can go further than that and take a journey with me into my spiritual coach school and as a private client. And when you're a private client, I only take a few at a time. You also get my spiritual coach school as part of that while we're working together. I want you to start dreaming of the essence, and the essence needs time to work. Do you realize when you're visioning and dreaming and calling in these things, do not read the evidence right away, because y'all are having to shift every person and every single thing in your life. It's like turning a cruise ship or a jet plane, one of those big ones flying to Europe or Africa, turning it around. You can't be reading the evidence. Speaking of that, do you know, I love when they use this example in my world, in our world. When a jet plane is flying you to a destination, it is making hundreds of thousands of micro corrections. It's not starting here and going to its target online with it. And that's what we're doing. But you all are not taking inspired aligned action. If you're not getting the results, some of you on here, you are taking inspired aligned action. I'm very proud of you because I'm supporting and guiding you, and I know that you're doing it. And I love, they're still here being poured into, and they already get poured into with my groups and my private coaching that they paid for, and they're still here getting poured into. And I do the same for myself. You need to set yourself up for success. This will get faster and easier once you strengthen the muscles, but at first it takes time. You can't read the evidence. You want to be in the joy and well-being loop that I've been teaching you to get into, and get yourself out and never go back to the fear loop, reading the evidence. That's illusion anyway, telling the story. And now the universe says whatever you say is, so it is. And now I'm in fear. And now I tell more stories, and on and on and on. And it becomes a house of cards. And sometimes people learn one thing and they knock down one of those cards. But I take you all the way to the core, and we knock out the base so you can't build another card on there. And then I catch you as your coach when you want to start building that house all over again. All over again. All of this that I've been talking about creates one thing that you absolutely cannot manifest once you're here. Get this, let it land. Be willing to take honest inventory. You abandon yourself. I get real emotional here because I had this whole thing with God for some years when I thought I was manifesting, and I thought I was thinking the things and doing the things, but they were empty because I was not inside able to align, and I wasn't living within these universal laws. And I kept saying this story, Spirit has abandoned me. Spirit is abandoning me. Spirit. And I can get very dramatic when I wrestle with Spirit. Spirit has asked me to do all these things, and Spirit is not supporting me. It was big. And I sat in that a long time. And one day I heard Spirit say, "Are you over yourself yet?" I'm serious, y'all. And I realized Spirit had to keep doing that because I was telling that story. Spirit does not abandon you. Here's what it really is. You have a hose, and all the well-being and everything you want between you and Spirit, everything comes from source through people. So here it is, and you crimp the hose and you shut it off. And when I got that, I abandoned myself. Well, of course, you can imagine that in my world, I had all kinds of evidence about all these other people who abandoned me. But they had to, because I abandoned myself. When I turned that around, I have been supported by spirit no matter what for 15 years. In every moment, I have not had a job since 2006. This can be yours. I see it turn around in my clients and in myself. This can be yours. The freedom you want. And once you learn how to do this, you'll get better and better to where it really does sometimes, oh my gosh, that already showed up. I was barely aware that desire went out into the field. Look at that, how amazing. Because I didn't have resistance to it and I was detached from the outcome, and it was just a desire, and the universe brought it back to me. Do you want to be able to live like this and learn like this? And how long until you stop just trying to pick one nugget here, one nugget from someone, not one nugget from another someone, and not putting it together, not plugged into a community that's going that way and not being poured into? I urge and encourage you as your coach and your guide right now, make it happen. If you're resonating with me, I am showing up right now as one opportunity to what you've been asking for. 100%. I believe it, or you would not be here hearing this, whether you're live or on the replay. 100%. I am here right now as one breadcrumb, one next step or first step, and as an opportunity to what you have been asking for. Can you see it? Can you hear it? Are you willing to go there with me? Your first step would be to send me a message and reach out and schedule one of those complimentary consultations for yourself. Let us talk, or just send me a direct message. You don't even have to get on the phone with me. We can talk in Messenger, or you can go straight to bethecontribution.com, bethecontribution.com, and learn all about my tribe, my community, my teachings, my trainings, what I have for you right now as an opportunity where you can immerse in this, because what I do with you is one part metaphysical upgrade, big time. And you got to have it. You can come to me privately for just the metaphysical upgrade, whether you're building a business or not. And it's 1/3 coaching academy, and it's 1/3 business school. If that's what you're looking for, or any version of that, getting this healed and transformed, reach out to me, schedule a complimentary consultation, talk with me in Messenger or by email, or go to bethecontribution.com. Now, if you're just happen to be on here for the first time today, or you're catching a part of this, go to workingforspiritpodcast.com, workingforspiritpodcast.com, where you can get all of it, and you can replay it and replay it and replay it over and over again, and let this pour into you for free. If you're really feeling this, I have just opened Spiritual Coach School for the next 10 people to come in. And in this 10 who come in February, one of the bonuses you get that is not available except when I'm bringing in that next group to step into this offer is a 90-minute private deep dive and Kickstarter with me. And we are doing a lot in there. Come in with us. Come in now and get that. You also are going to get a weekend virtual spiritual retreat because my founding members have not been in there yet. And I didn't know I was going to offer that bonus, but I realized we haven't done it yet. So I will give you a seat in that with the founding members, a weekend virtual spiritual retreat. We're doing Akashic Records, Ho'oponopono, intuitive energy healing. We're getting laser coaching. We're going deep. We are working on all of your stuff and activations, energetic activations and tools for you. I'd love to see who are the next 10 that are going to come in and join my founding members and get that. That 90-minute itself is valued at $500. A weekend virtual retreat is valued at $997. Now you're $1,500 in without even getting the spiritual coach school, which is a value of $5,000 on its own. And I'm telling you right now, I put out, when I soft launched Black Market, Black Friday special, I said Black Market, Black Friday special, that's kind of like buying from the black market, those insane deals. And I put it at 50% off for my founding members, and they got to come in at that price. And that price is still on my website. And this is not some kind of hype. It has not been changed yet because my entire website is being built to be launched probably tomorrow. So it's still on there. So you can get that Black Friday, Thanksgiving weekend, Cyber Monday, 50% off special for coaching school. Come in worth $5,000, the weekend spiritual retreat worth $997, and this $500 plus 90-minute private deep dive Kickstarter with me. All of that plus spiritual coach school and the community and all the teachings and trainings. We meet live twice a month, every 2 weeks. You have live access to me in the community and a private Facebook group. So I want you to go to bethecontribution.com, make a decision, take an inspired action, follow the breadcrumbs. This is an opportunity in answer to what you've been asking for. There are people in here right now sitting in the Zoom room that are founding members that are already having bigger success than they had a month ago because they said yes to this very offer and they stepped in. And you'll get to plug into that community. You'll get to be here with us. I invite you, bethecontribution.com, and come back tomorrow because I have so much more. And stay here with me a minute, because I've got more for you. I have so much more for you in store, plus all week of this training that you will continue to have access to. That is my invitation to you right now. And now, I told you at the very beginning, I have a story for you, and I'm going to tell you this story now. And what a great way to close, because I thought I would tell the story earlier, but I literally have notes on a ton of things here, and I have covered everything for today that I need to give you. So I'm complete with that. But this story is going to take you back to the me that is where a lot of you are, or even earlier. So listen to the story and imagine. These things are just coming in my world. I've had a spiritual awakening. They're lighting me up. I'm busy. I have 3 kids and a husband. I've come out of a toxic marriage with a 2-year-old. I got remarried. I had 2 more children. I'm still trying to figure out the work train. I'm working. I'm doing this and that, and trying to make money and pay the bills and keep up with school, all these things. But something is starting to come in and it feels big, and I don't know what it is. When you are lit up, if you're watching this or listening to this and you're lit up by me, it is because something in me is a match in you, and you can do this and be this and have this too. your own best and highest version of it. And something's lighting me up, and I'm starting to read and listen, and I've just been exposed to the secret. And I was in Colorado, and I moved back to Texas, which is home for me. And we moved to the hill country. Home is Dallas, where I am now. Anyway, that's part of the story. I moved to an area of Texas because I want you to see none of this is coincidence. Spirit knows every opportunity they're going to put in your path, every breadcrumb. I moved into an area when I was ready for this, where I suddenly lived an hour away from Joe Vitale. He lived in the hill country, the Texas hill country, for decades. And my husband and I happened to love the little town where he lived. And we were making a day trip there. And I wasn't thinking about it. It was in my mind, Joe Vitale lives in this town, but I was excited. I actually was having a day away from the children, a date day with my husband, and Wimberley is this cute little town. And we're shopping. There are all these little shops in Wimberley. And I went into one of the shops, and in the back, there was a shelf of books. And I was like, oh, this doesn't look like a bookstore. It's a knickknack, antiques, but it's Wimberley, and it's mishmash of everything. And on the bookshelf, because Joe Vitale lives there, there were some of his books. And suddenly I was so drawn to it. I picked it up and I'm reading the back, looking at it. And then I was holding it to me and I didn't even realize it. And here was the biggest dream and desire I could have at the time. I'm in Joe Vitale's town where he lives. What if Joe Vitale walked in here right now and I saw him and I'm holding his book? Y'all, that was all I could dream. I'm this little small somebody. I was going to say nobody, but I wasn't a nobody at all. I couldn't even dream that I could be doing what he's doing. None of it. And I'm holding the book. And guess what? He didn't come in that day, because that desire was actually not aligned in the field. But now I looked back and Spirit saying up there at that moment, oh girl, you don't even know. You just sent a rocket of desire. And when it comes back to you, you are going to be blown away. And not just once, but multiple times. And it has come to pass. And last night, another consequence, another creation, another effect of me sending that cause. You can react to cause and effect, or you can cause an effect. So I wasn't a big upset. You know, at that time, I didn't know how to manifest or any of that. And I went on, I had a wonderful day with my husband, but it stuck with me. Now, this was a while later, over a year later, I get an email saying in Wimberley, 50 people can come and spend a weekend with Joe Vitale. 50 people, there was a cost. So remember, it's going to be inconvenient. Can I leave my family right now for a weekend? What's on my calendar? It's going to be expensive. At that time, it cost $1,000. And I thought, whoa, could I spend $1,000 on that? But remember, I can't blame my family anymore. And I can't blame my schedule and my boss and all these other people and things. And I knew I had to do it. And it was to learn advanced Ho'oponopono. I knew I needed to plug into the tribe as well as go be with Joe Vitale. That is the first time I met him in person. But it doesn't stop there. I went that weekend. I met him in person. Now, I want you to realize this is so deep and intrinsic. I want you to catch the little nuggets. He said something that day that blew the lid off the top of my head, to the point I stood up while he was still on stage and walked to the microphone and I said, and I looked around, I thought, why is everyone else not falling out of their chairs? I can't even breathe. Spirit brought me that through him. Spirit is bringing you things through me all these days and right in this moment. And I said something to him about it. And he said, yeah, you're right. And so I go on. Spirit orchestrated us to have that interaction. I spent the rest of the time, I got photo ops with him. He didn't know who I was, but I was there in person, and I learned a tool that has changed my business and my life. So now I go home and I'm going along and I get another email. And now I'm being offered an opportunity that I never would have taken in the past, but now it's the next step and the next breadcrumb, but it is so big. And yet I know I have to do it, but I have a new manifesting tool that I'm going to teach you right now. And my new manifesting tool is that I learned then. I teach it to my clients and students all the time. You will learn it when you're working with me. I've learned to not say, I can't afford this, I don't have the money. I say, Spirit, I'm doing this. I desire this. And I desire to create new money, because all the money I have is earmarked for other things. I desire to create new money for this. And now here's the piece that's important. You are making an agreement with Spirit. When that money starts coming in, you have to use it for what you said you would use it for and what you asked for. Some people blow the whole thing at this point because it comes in and then they use it for something else. And now you've just turned down your manifestation and you've canceled your agreement with Spirit. And you've created an energy. So I said, whoa, I have to do this. It was to have a masterminding dinner with Joe Vitale alone, and he would bring one expert that he knows that would help me most. He would pick me up in his Bentley. And remember, I already lived an hour away from him, so I didn't have to travel or get a hotel. So that was big for me. That might have blown me over the top at that time, the time and the money involved. And I said, I have to do this. And I sent in, I'm doing this, put me on the calendar. It was a lot of money. And I knew, I kept checking in. This is the next thing. Now, I want y'all to realize sometimes this is key. Sometimes when these breadcrumbs and things come in, you don't know what they're going to lead to. This wasn't just for me to get something from him. This is still paying off for me in huge ways as late as last night. Please get this, because I'm telling you. So I created the money. I whipped out all my new manifesting tools, including create new money. I had to hold the energy. I had to do these things I'm learning, and I had to focus on it. And I gave myself 90 days. I actually created $7,500, mind blowing to me at the time, $7,500 to have dinner with Dr. Joe Vitale. In 8 weeks, I created it, which was good because I was already on his calendar. And when the money came in, the first money, I didn't create it in one chunk. It came in pieces. I had to keep showing up to the opportunities and the breadcrumbs. When that first 500 came in, I sent in my deposit. I wasn't about to not. And every penny that came in, I paid for it. And suddenly there I was. I went to that dinner and Joe said, what do you want from me? And I said, I want my $1 million idea. And I got it that night. And I've been implementing it ever since. I was paying for his knowledge and wisdom and business savvy and his energy. Please get this, because remember the be, do, have. Working with me or someone else who lights you up, that is being who you want to be, doing what you want to do, and having what you want to have Getting in their energy activates that in you, and he activated me. But it's not done yet. I left that dinner, and he says he was so impressed by me and what I had going on, and that I made him up his game during that time together. Later, months down the road, he was forming a private secret mastermind. And when he invited me, I said, how much is that going to cost? And he said, oh no, as a peer now, I think you would bring stuff to the table, and I am inviting people. And it was in person for months, private masterminding with Joe Vitale and these experts from all over that he brought in. And now I'm an expert at the table, being, doing, and having. But look what I had to do. It was inconvenient, uncomfortable, scary, expensive, unreasonable, and illogical. And I'm standing here today to tell you, I was in that mastermind. I got so much out of it. And then guess what? When I was writing my second book, I made a big ask. And I asked Joe Vitale to write the foreword to my book. Do you think he would have said yes? If I just said, hey, I like you online. Hey, I bought your $37 product. Or even if I said, hey, I was at your weekend, but you don't really know me. No, to write the foreword for my book, Spirit made us come around each other and get us in front of each other numerous times. He certainly wouldn't have done it if I had said, hey, remember that time I ran into you in the bookstore in Wimberley? I love you. Spirit kept this going. He has been a huge influence in my life and my business, but he is a huge influencer, and he has also promoted me to so many people. He wrote the foreword to my book, so now my book comes up on Amazon with Joe's books. That's why, one of the reasons I asked him to write it. And because I knew he could speak to what I was writing about. And I have a whole chapter in that book, From Calling to Cash. I have a whole chapter in that book of my story, this story I'm telling you. But now there's even more, because he wrote the foreword to my book. And last night, 4 years, I want you to get this, because this is absolutely no coincidence. 4 years ago, to the night that I sat at that dinner with Joe Vitale with a big dream, I was on Joe Vitale's new TV show, interviewed for an hour and promoted by Joe Vitale to his extreme reach audience. And he said amazing things about me that will hold weight and help others find me and connect with me. And that TV show will be out there forever. Look at that story. From a bookstore, I didn't even have this business. I was just a little somebody with a little bitty dream, to being on his TV show and having my own empire, on my way to my $1 million dream. Y'all, I want you to feel that. You are no different than me, than I was there. No different. And here I am. But what I did was, I didn't get afraid. I got excited. I used my manifesting tools. I showed up everywhere Spirit told me. I made it happen. I believed it. I followed the breadcrumbs. I held my big dream. This goes back to what that person asked the other day in here, and I answered it yesterday. A big dream versus all the parts. I have had a very, very big dream, but I did each part. Show up at this weekend. It's going to cost you $1,000. Make the time, make the commitment, go there and do it. Show up here, do this, now do this. And every one of those led me to my payoff from Spirit. Again, let's connect for real. Join me on Facebook, If you're ready to step into my Spirit Workers Collective and be a student and a client and maybe even a private client and schedule that complimentary call with me, bethecontribution.com, and go and get all of these recordings on my Working for Spirit podcast.com. So you can let me keep pouring into you. I'm ready for 10 of you to be those next members, to join my founding members in Spiritual Coach School. And I have an option where you can become a private client as well with it. And then you get that all for free. The weekend spiritual retreat and the 90-minute private coaching deep dive, all of it, for 10 people that are out there right now. And I am the opportunity in answer to what you were asking for right now. You've got to be able to see it and hear it. And then you've got to be able to step forward in fear and excitement. By the way, anything that makes you afraid and feel like you're going to throw up and excited at the same time, you absolutely must do. Step with fear and excitement into this new container. Do something different to truly manifest. I'm here. I'm inviting you. And I hope that tomorrow I am able to tell you the full launch of my new website and all that's going to be there for you. Do not hesitate. Do not wait. Spirit led you this far. Spirit put me in the bookshop and then put me in Wimberley at the retreat and then put me at the dinner and then put me on the TV show. What is waiting for you? But I couldn't have gone from the bookstop. This goes back. I'm closing with this because we're an hour in. I'm so glad you all are here. I could not. Remember, I talked to you in the beginning about becoming the person who gets those results. That person could not have shown up on Dr. Joe Vitale's new TV show. From the bookstore to the TV show, yet here I am. And those of you who are just tuning in and haven't heard the story, go back to the replay or to my podcast and get it. Because that story is instrumental. And I'm going to leave you with that. We have one more day tomorrow. And tomorrow, I'm going to go back through all the principles and the practical processes for you. We're going to recap and we're going to activate. You decide what is your next action to take. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. Just a minute, as I always do. There were some things in the chat, and I'm going to take a minute if you're still here with me. So strong desires. Yes, only one thing holding back. So it's believing universal law that wherever there is a desire, a way has already been made. You have to trust that no matter what they show up as. Figuring it out, yes. Mind blown. The fear is real, but the fear is not real. It's an illusion, false evidence appearing real, but it's happening in your body. We're going to transform it to excitement, and we're going to do what supports you. The power of energy, yes, receive the energy. While I'm talking to your conscious mind, I am transmitting energy for you. This is working on all levels. Some of it you're not ready for consciously yet. Yes, the show launches tomorrow. ZeroLimitsLivingTV.com. ZeroLimitsLivingTV.com. And tomorrow I'll announce it again. Thank you for reminding me. It launches tomorrow. You'll see it. It airs tomorrow. Yes, I will help push you over past that wall into the new if you receive my invitation and you allow it. And that's what I have for you today. Thank you all so much. I'm excited to see what you do with all of this. Bye.